What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode number 36 of the TrueShot Guest Spot podcast. My guest today is Meredith Henderson, drummer and vocalist and lyricist, and just all around a big part of the band Victims. Now, this is a band that's kind of caught my attention as of late, only because, I've heard the name Victims for a little while now. They've been around for a minute, as the kids like to say. But with the reaction channel, you kind of have to temper what you check out and what you don't check out. And we've checked out their last two singles, which were very different from each other sonically. And I just thought it would be really cool to sit down and talk with Meredith about the band and all that. And with that, listen, we talked about, there was so much we talked about, but we talked about how she got into metal initially, because, I know that obviously, it is kind of annoying when people say oh, it's a female fronted band or there's a female in the band. But it's still pretty interesting that, because all of us bands in this scene, we look at our Spotify numbers, and the ratio between men and women is obviously quite a disparity. So we touched on that. We touched on the inception of Victims. We also touched on how, if you look at Victims' discography, there's a lot of collaborations. We kind of talk about the stigma surrounding collaborations, but not so much anymore. I think people are kind of thinking a little bit more ahead now in terms of how bands collaborate with other artists and whatnot. And then also to kind of round out the podcast, we talked about Chicago sports. Now, as you guys can see, all of my podcasts seem to be very, very long. That's because I just cannot shut up. So anyways, strap in, get some popcorn, get a little Coke or some water or some ginger ale, whatever you prefer, and let's get into this episode. Meredith Henderson, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing very well. I have to do the official podcast intro. Otherwise, what are we doing here? But,
exactly.
I'm gonna get the podcast voice on. But no, I'm really excited to be doing this with you. You guys, your band Victims, are kind of a band that I've known about for a while, but with us doing the reaction videos, we tend to it's one of those things where we don't check out a lot of music as soon as it comes out because we're maybe we'll react to this eventually or something.
Yeah.
So we've finally gotten the chance to check out two of your tracks, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I'm very excited to have you on.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I know there's a lot of bands out there in general. I feel like I'm kind of the same way, though. I'll see shit pop up, and I'm I don't know. It's just too overwhelming. You can't get to it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially it seems lately, I feel like every Friday there's 53 things releasing. It's crazy.
This year's going to be so bad. This is only, what is it, quarter two, technically? Quarter 3 and 4, I feel like it's just going to be
Yeah, because you think about probably a lot of bands, especially higher level bands, probably waited until this year for hopefully touring and shows to come back.
Yeah.
All right, now let's release our music. And what was it? I know that it was March 19th or something like that. It was literally everything came out.
And we released a song that day, and I'm I regret it because the next week there wasn't that much, and I'm I should have picked that week. Why did I pick this week?
Yeah, exactly. We just released the track this past Friday, but we originally were planning for the 19th of March, but it got pushed back, fortunately and unfortunately, because of course you want to get the music out.
Of course, whatever. Yeah.
But as soon as I saw that, and especially being, doing reactions as well, I'm this is going to take a month.
Overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was super excited to talk to you because, just listening to the two tracks that I listened to, very, very different sonically. And I thought that was super cool.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So really the meaning behind that, the whole album is kind of like that. There's there's the heavy side and there's the melodic side, just because I feel we're on our 4th record, which is kind of crazy to think about in an independent scale, because we afforded that all of those albums ourselves. And we're just like, we want to dive into like different sounds and experiment, like, because we just love writing music. Like, as a band, we just write so much music, and we're
Yeah.
like, well, we want to make Victims into a project where it's like you won't expect everything that's coming out, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was almost like, in a way, like I went back after like doing the reaction. I listened to the songs again, and I'm like, this is like bipolar, but in like the coolest way possible. It was like super heavy with a Darius feature, and then, a little bit more slowed down.
Yeah. Um, I didn't know how people were gonna take it. Like, I really like the song, and it's very different from what we don't normally put out and stuff. But you never know with heavy music fans. You can totally, you know, warp them out because
Yeah.
they'll be like, I don't like this, you know. But the people who've been listening for a while were like, oh no, this song is really good. So I was like, all right, good, good. Don't want to
Yeah.
turn off everybody, but
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, listen, every song we release, they're like, those vocals are awful. Like I'm used to it every time. It's
oh.
okay though, that's just how heavy music fans are. They think they know it all. They think they know tones of vocals, and they know it all. They're historians.
Well, I saw someone post, or it was like a comment on YouTube that you posted today. And I was like,
Yeah.
who writes these? Like, who comes up with these? I was like, I listened to your new song and I thought it was really good, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Um, I watched the video too, and that was super sick. But I was like, what are you guys like? Are we listening to the same thing? Because I didn't hear anything wrong with the vocals. Like,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. I guess at this point, it's like it's my voice, so it's like I have to live with it whether I like it or not. I mean, it just is
yeah,
what it is. But no, I mean, now when people say it about our first EP, I'm like, okay, I see where you're
I
coming
get it.
from.
Yeah.
But as with every band's first EP, I remember I was listening to an interview that you did like years ago. It was like a quick little like 11-minute thing, and
Yeah.
you were talking about how you guys used to be named something else, and
Oh no.
that has been
Yeah.
wiped from the internet forever.
No, the first project, like before we changed it to Victims, and then we changed it again, like without the vowels, but it was called A Devil for Me, and
Yeah,
it was trash. It was terrible.
a devil for
But
me. That's so metal. I love it.
everyone has to start somewhere. I know there was
Yeah.
I think it was what's the band Black Veil Brides?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they had a song called A Devil for Me or something. And our old vocalist is like, oh yeah, that's a good song. That's like a good band name. And then at the time when you're like, what, I was like 16, 15, 15, I think. It's like, oh yeah, we'll roll with that, but no. Like, Lord help
Yeah.
us all.
Well, speaking of that, so when we formed TrueShot, I was 25, and this is my first band. And I came up with the name Rare Form, and then I soon realized that is the album of After the Burial.
After the burial, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we won't do that. So no, I definitely, well, at least you guys were younger. I was 25 years old, so I mean,
Yeah, but Rare Form, like that's a sick record. I don't know
yeah.
about I was never a huge like Black Veil Brides fan. I just knew Knives and Pens, that one song, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I ever liked by Black Veil Brides was like the very first like drum pattern to The Legacy, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I remember that song too. What
Yeah,
the
like the
hell?
first like 10 seconds, I'm like, this is sick, and then it gets racing faster. Like, I don't know.
Like,
See you
all
later.
right.
But not really my thing.
No, I'm not I wasn't really into like the Icy Stars, like Blessed to Fall.
Yeah.
Not saying they're not good bands, but I was like never into like I don't know that side of would it be would it even be post hard not post
It's like
hardcore.
like on the border. It's like I don't know. It's like closer to metalcore, but it's like somewhere on
Yeah,
the border.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't into a lot of those bands, and then my bandmates, they're older than me, so they'll like turn it on and they're like nostalgia throwback. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no.
So what kind of stuff were you into? Like what kind of bands? Because I know, like for me, I was really, I was the typical like Avenged Sevenfold, Linkin Park, and then you go to Lamb
Yeah.
of God, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
So my favorite band is actually Blink 182.
Oh,
That's
okay,
like my all-time favorite band, which is not metal at all. But when I first started getting into metal, it's literally because of like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, and then like Guitar Hero, like the first two, and just like the Madden games. So
oh
it was
hell
like a
yeah,
wide range off the bat. Like I was listening to like Atreyu, I was listening to Avenged Sevenfold. I liked
oh Trey, X's and O's, oh
yeah,
man,
Bullet
yeah,
for My Valentine.
yep, yep.
Then I was listening to like Thrice,
Oh, okay.
Simple Plan, Sum 41. Uh, I wasn't like I listened to Linkin Park, but Slipknot was like the band. Like that kind of brought me into the metal like scene, honestly.
Gotcha.
Slipknot, Pantera, Metallica. Those three.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, so I was born in 1993 and I think the first Slipknot album came out in like 99 or something like
90
that.
what yeah, I think it was 99. I think they what is it? Eat, Mate, Kill or something. I totally probably just butchered that, but they
Yeah.
have that it was like that EP with May 17th on it. I think that came out I want to say in like 94 or something like that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they've been
think
a band since the early 90s.
yeah, I remember one of my like earlier memories as a kid was like in one of my friend's dad's, pickup trucks and he's just listening to Slipknot. So like Slipknot was definitely one of those bands for me as well. So now what I'm curious about is because and I'm trying to think of how to word this properly, but you are a woman. And
Yeah.
so what I'm curious about, and not because like you're a girl, you're into metal, it's not one of those, but like, did you have brothers that got you into it, or was it just an organic thing for you, or
Well,
because
so
I see our Spotify stats and it's 8% women, so that's why I
I
asked.
know, okay, us too. I just feel like women don't really listen to like
Yeah,
metal as much, and I would love, obviously you would love to change that.
of course.
But so I got into wanting to play a band when I was like 8. Nobody in my family has any kind of like musical background. Like I'm the only one in my family that like plays music really.
Yeah.
And I've been writing lyrics since I was like 8.
Oh,
And
wow.
me and my friend Nick, he was in the band for like a very short amount of time. Uh, I was playing with his Paul Reed Smith. It was like a nice $800 guitar, but we were like just jamming, and I was fake playing to My Friends Over You by Newfound Glory, and then I like tried to do the guitar flip,
Oh no.
and it like hit because this basement's kind of small. It hit the top, and the peg broke off, and I was like my heart stopped, and I was like,
No.
yeah, I'm not doing this. But it was like 4 years like after that I started getting into it because our neighbor who was in the band for most of our like career, I hate using
Yeah.
that word, but
Yeah.
um, most of our career, and he moved down the street when I was in 8th grade, and he played guitar, and we never could find a guitarist, and he's like, yo, like let's do a band, and we were like finally about it, and I was 13, 14, and
Damn.
we just started playing, in Nick's basement, and I actually played bass, and I sang, and I didn't even play drums yet at that point. Like, so it's just kind of wild how it kind of all just spun into we were playing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, and now I'm playing like heavy metal.
Oh my, that's so funny.
I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So when did because I remember in that interview too that I listened to, because I try to listen to a little bit before so that way
Just to kind of get the background knowledge,
yeah,
yeah.
just not to ask you the same questions 55 times or whatever. But yeah, so like I know that you had said at that point you had been playing drums for 5 years. So now it's almost been 10 years at this, because that interview was like 4 years ago or something like that. So
Yeah, I've been playing drums. I think it's like 10 years. I always lose track because when you're playing drums and like playing guitar, when did you start taking it seriously? You know,
Yeah.
you can like dabble around and this and that, but I feel like collectively I've been playing drums like for 6 years seriously, but it's technically like 10.
Mhm.
But I learned how to play drums or wanted to because of Rock Band.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, this is the only instrument that I know how to play. This one right here.
There we go.
That's it. Well, so speaking of Guitar Hero earlier, I came across the game Clone Hero. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, people have been making like songs, like other people's songs on there. Like I
Yeah.
saw Hardcore Keem, I think he put like some band's whole
Yeah. Carcosa.
discography or
Yeah.
something.
Andrew Baina's.
Oh, Andrew Vina. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like somebody like on our YouTube comments like messaged me and they were like, "I'd love to put your song because the song before this past one was Mirage, and they're
Yeah.
like, we'd love to put Mirage on there." I was like, "Sick," and I was like, "I don't know how to play. I don't know how to like start this or anything." So I've managed to get my hand on one of these things, which these are a hot commodity nowadays.
Really? It's hard to
Oh,
get those?
it's fortunately a very kind Facebook friend was able to ship it to me, with for no cost, just shipping, and the shipping was $30. But
Oh
like,
my God.
if you go on eBay, these things are like anywhere between 50 and $80, like, and then before
Damn.
shipping, yeah, they're
I have that same one actually. I had that one in the Paul Reed the it was like no that Les Paul. It was the
okay,
black one.
yeah.
And but I lost the connection to that one. The other one was wireless, but the white one I still have it, but I don't have the connection to it.
Yeah, and I think those ones are so expensive and such hot commodities because like those are like the best ones to use for Clone Hero because I guess the drivers in them or whatever. There's like there's like it's not as complicated for it to hook. I don't know the technicalness about it,
Yeah, no, I
but
got you.
no, I loaded it up and I was like, oh, sick. You know, I used to play Guitar Hero like Bulls on Parade. You know, it was fun.
Yes.
But this game is fucking hard as hell. I'm like, what is this? They're like, yeah, the people who play this, you know, they chart it and make it really difficult on purpose. And I'm like, dude, I got carpal tunnel playing this
It's
game.
like, dude,
And it's as like you remember like old Guitar Hero, like Through the Fire and Flames. I mean, that was
oh yeah, yeah.
like this stuff is crazy. Like they made our song like super difficult.
And you're like, it's not even this hard, like to play it on guitar.
I said that during I did a video of me playing our song, and I said Adam doesn't play this well. Okay, it's not as because Adam's our guitar player. So
Yeah.
I was like, this is more difficult than him actually playing the song.
Oh my God.
But no, it's a cool game, and yeah, I wonder now. I'll have to download some Victim songs and play them if they're on there.
If there are, well, there was another one. I thought I saw Tyler's friend. I don't remember who he was talking about, but there was not a Trader song, but there was some metal song on some interactive Star Wars game where you like cut the boxes. I don't know what it's called, and I'm sure someone could be like, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about," but it went viral, and
Oh, that's sick.
I don't know. I was like, people are just like finding ways how to place heavy songs onto video games, like.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Like you think of like I know that one of the biggest, you know, it used to be like you were saying, it used to be like the Madden soundtracks used to be that, but like
So good.
yeah, like and now like Doom Eternal is like straight up just like genty, groovy stuff. It's cool.
The Doom Eternal track, that's literally what the inspiration was for Crippling Form. That was like one of the songs on Volume 3. And
Yeah.
John, like they would play the Doom. It was not the most recent Doom, but I want to say, I don't remember what the title was called, but they always used to play this one song. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm looking this up real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I think like because it's crazy. We did like a reaction video to one of the Doom songs from like 2016 or something like that, Doom Eternal or whatever.
Yeah.
And that video has like 200,000 views. I'm like, God damn, people like this.
Oh, it's BFG Division. That's the one.
We've been told 100 times to react to that. I guess that's another really popular one.
It's so yeah, no, it literally so sick.
Yeah, because it's very rare for me to find anything that's just straight instrumental to like, and then also it's like 9 minutes long.
Yeah,
So,
it keeps your attention. It goes.
Yeah.
It's like, like I don't know. I enjoy it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot.
No, I did. I enjoyed it too because it's like I was saying, it's like it's very rare. That's kind of like the ongoing meme with our YouTube channels. I'm like the short song guy. Like I don't like anything that's over 4 minutes. You know, that kind of thing.
Me, okay. I like some 4 minute songs, but I'm kind of the same. I'm in the same boat. Like when I see a band put out like a 5 minute song, unless it's gonna super like intrigue me, I can't like listen all the way through.
Yeah, because going back to your Blink 182 fandom, like the problem is, and I say it all the time in our videos, it's like a lot of these bands are not good at hooks. It's just
Exactly. If
they're
you don't
just
have like
not.
a solid hook, and you could, you could repeat the chorus or whatever part like 3 times and make it like a longer song. But if you don't have that like kind of song, I don't know. You're not Metallica, bro,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Dream Theater. You know, like
Right. And I say, hey, listen, do your thing because I know obviously what it's like to be in a band and want to express yourself artistically or whatever. But
yeah.
I'm just like, man, like because so my guitar player Adam, he's super into like August Burns Red era, like those really progressive style of bands.
And all of their songs are at least 4 minutes.
Oh, they're all wicked long. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I like some
Great
of this
bands.
yeah,
Yeah.
great bands. Like, and I, like we've had the opportunity to talk to JT from Era personally and Jake from August Burns Red personally. Super nice guys, which makes you like the music even more.
Yeah.
But the problem that because we'll be, we do like so many reactions a night or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, this song is fucking 5 minutes, dude. Like,
It's like
why?
so. I find it hard. It's easier for me when I'll listen to like Cloud Kicker and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it's like instrumental music that goes on for not 9 minutes. That I could actually listen to if I'm driving. It's like soothing, but I cannot listen to screaming for like 5 minutes, and then the next song is also 5 minutes. Like
Right.
if you have one song or two songs on your album, they're like a little longer. Yeah, I got it, but I don't know. I like the 2.5, 3.5 minute songs,
Yeah.
and that that's it.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, this is another joke with me is that every video that I do, I always find a way to bring up a mirror because they're my favorite band.
You're
They're my favorite band, and they're definitely closer to the 2 minute mark. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah.
So, and that's the kind of stuff that I dig. So that's like one thing I noticed off of your upcoming record is that there's one song that touches 4 minutes on the dot, and that's it.
Just oh wow, okay. I guess I didn't even look at it. I just know I'm like, yeah, the songs aren't that long, I don't think.
You
But
have one song that's 12 minutes. Did you know that? No.
oh well, wait, do we actually have a song that's 12 minutes? No. No, we have a 6 minute. I think it's a 6 minute song. It's Sinister, and it's off our first record.
I'm gonna look while you talk.
I'm pretty sure it's like 6 minutes and 28 seconds or something like that.
Let me see. Now we have to know.
I know. Watch, I'm wrong.
Let's see. We got victims. Oh wow, that's like the Spotify desktop app updated. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, let's see. It used to like order them so much nicer than this. Okay, let's see. You have that one checks out. That was volume 2 that I just looked at. That one checks out. Volume 1, 544.
544. There we go.
Sinister.
Yeah. That's a long one, but that's because we have this whole like drawn out dissonant nee. There's a lead going on, and then it hits into this breakdown. We usually close with it like when we play live, and it's almost like 2 songs in one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Off of our first EP, we have a song that's 5 minutes. And the lyrical content is about my mother who passed away, but I'm like, that song sucks, dude. It's too long.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear about that, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're actually working on another one now for her as well. But no, I think I don't know. There's just something about the longer songs that I just cannot do it. Like I don't know if you've seen any of my rant videos about black metal or whatever.
Well, I saw the one you were ranting. I didn't like see the comments, but you're like you were posting a couple of them to your Facebook, and they're like, you're always judging these songs, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what I mean, everyone's gonna have what they like and dislike, you know what I mean? So
Of course.
I know plenty of people that don't like my band, so I don't know. It doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
I
also
don't know.
part of it too, like, and I think the part that I think a lot of, especially people, because a lot of people, especially with like and I don't want to call them out specifically, but the European metal fans are very emotionally attached to
Oh
some of these
yeah.
bands, like
Oh yeah.
very emotionally attached. And part of what I'm doing on these videos is shtick, like it's for entertainment. It's going over the top to like just be,
Yeah, like WWE, like you never seen
yeah,
that. Like there's a
exactly.
character you're playing and stuff. So
Yeah, but no, I mean, anytime you ever want any good entertainment, just go check out one of our Nightwish reactions, and it is like we have like 600 dislikes on it. Is insane.
really?
Yeah, oh, it's
Oh my
crazy. But
oh my god.
getting back to Victim, sorry for that
No,
aside.
you're good.
But
I don't mind.
yeah, but because I was looking at your discography earlier, and I noticed one thing that you guys do a lot of that I think is super cool is you have a lot of collaborations, a lot of features over the years, like a lot.
Yeah, we started doing features literally right when we started. And my vision behind that is because I write all the lyrical and vocal parts. I
Oh
literally,
wow.
yeah, I write all the vocal stuff. That's kind of more what I love doing more so than drums. And I talk about that like here and there, but
Yeah.
from the get go, it's like, these are my lyrics. I know like how I want them to go and the emotion behind it. And I also like to bring on just a vocalist that's going to totally change the song, because I
Mhm.
think vocals is just a huge part of every track. Like you'll hear
Yeah.
the same song with a totally different vocalist, it just changes the feel to it. And kind of like hip hop,
Yeah.
they're always using like hip hop and pop, there's always features on there.
Yeah. Always.
And there's like a stigma in metal, like you can't have a feature because your vocalist just needs to have this huge ego and always has to be the pinnacle part of the
Right.
band. And it's like it doesn't need to be like that. And I think I've always wanted to make other vocalists shine, and then also bring on people that I kind of like not look up to, but inspiration, or why I started listening to metal to begin with, and this and that. Like the Plot and You, we got landed on one of our like first songs,
Yeah.
and they were a huge like reason why I started to like this music more and more. So
Right.
and that's kind of like the idea behind it. And I'm starting to notice more people are putting features on their shit. And I'm like, that was not the case when we started. But, it's cool that people are kind of like opening up their horizon and their mind to this. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and why do you think that is? My theory on that is that because I think as time goes on, the people who are starting to enter into these bands are people who kind of grew up with like new metal or probably listen to some hip hop or a little bit, and because I think like if you go back, 5+ years ago, there could have been some members of bands who started out liking, some like old, like kind of like melodic death metal stuff or whatever. And they hated the new metal stuff and like they just kind of stuck with like that metal, you know what I mean? But I think like,
yeah.
as time goes on, I think a lot of people have like kind of like like I said, like broken with new metal, like you would Slipknot, me would Slipknot, or like like a lot of rap or stuff like that growing up as well, and then probably got exposed to it that way. I don't know. That's my theory. What about you?
I think a huge reason is because music is so much more internet based now,
Yeah.
that people are getting features of people that they know is going to like bring up their band, which is usually
True.
why I see features for the most part. And they're like, oh, we can collaborate and kind of say like, oh yeah, you're almost hitching a ride on this
True.
person's band,
Yeah.
and it gives people that might not know your project a more of a reason to listen to your track. So now I'm seeing more bands like constantly use features, and I'm like, that's literally why. It's just people want to right off the bat have people's attention that
Yeah.
they wouldn't have before when you start out, and everything is just so internet based that you see like featuring this person of this band, you're like, oh, I know that band, and you instantly click it,
Yeah.
So I think just the new day and age and everything being so Facebook, like social media savvy, that's why people started to kind of do that.
Yeah, I like your theory better than that's a much better theory. I think that's a much better one. No, because I think features are awesome, and we've only had one, but like for the last song that we just put out, I did inquire a certain somebody from a band that rhymes with a mirror, and I asked him. We just couldn't afford it at the time.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of anything that rhymed with a mirror. I'm like, what the hell rhymes with a mirror?
Demerge. No, I don't know. That's like a near rhyme. I don't know.
But we've had one feature, and let's just say, it was from a band that rhymes with healer. We'll just say that.
Oh, that's a band too. I don't know if you knew
I know,
that.
yeah, it is.
But funny thing about that, we also had a feature with healer.
Really? Like, is it out, or did you?
No, it is.
Okay.
We have since then had to change that said song,
Oh.
but
Yeah. Lucky. Well, so I'm guessing that that was after.
Well, yeah, we had that beforehand. It was funny, like when he was in his previous band. I don't really want to like dive too deep, but like we were friends and everything, and Alpha Wolf's, he liked Victims and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, like hop on it, let's hop on a song. And eventually it came around, and we had the song ready and everything, but obviously, that didn't work out. But I mean, it happens,
Yeah, no, for sure. And no, we don't have to dive too deep into that. But I just thought that it was cool to see all these different features. I mean, you have quite the, I mean, this is quite the names here. You got Darius twice. You got Tyler Denon.
Darius twice. Yeah, I know.
And Tyler Denon, which is, like that's a deep cut, kind of.
Yeah, no, Tyler, it was really cool. That was kind of like when we started. No, that was our second official song. And he hopped in there, him and Sam Botner, he's a guitarist at Barrier. He tracked that record for us.
Oh, cool.
And Tyler just came in because they're good friends and everything, and he nailed down his part. Like I had the lyrics ready, and he came up with the whole pattern and literally just like one take. It was pretty cool. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
At the time, it was really cool. And I really respect Sworn In. I think they get a lot of unnecessary hate. I think, especially when you live here in this state, it's a very different thing from everywhere else. Like, just...
Oh, are they from that area?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're literally... They live, like, probably, like, 30, 40 minutes from me.
Oh, wow.
So, not too far, yeah. And really nice dudes and everything. And I think they just got, a brunt, like a brunt of a beating, you will, for no reason. I think, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Sworn In changed a lot for the scene,
I mean, They gave a whole continent their metalcore scene, Australia.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. We always get called, or not always, but now since, they're getting bigger and everything, they're like, oh, yeah, Alpha Wolf is like the American Victims and vice versa. I was like, bro, like, stop. I like that. I like that band. I think they're doing great things. I have never been one that loved to be compared.
Right.
Because that's not why we play music, to be compared to another band. And Sworn In, we've definitely got that more than anything. And I don't ever hear it, just because I grew up listening, not grew up, but in the scene, they were one of the staple bands in the scene, and I've seen them go from zero to hero, whatever. And we're not that new to be like our inception came from Sworn In. That's all. Like I always say that to people. It's like, we only came like a year after them, 2 years after them. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, to me, I think that they're kind of one of those bands that you could say are, I guess for the lack of a better phrase, like kind of ahead of their time in a little bit of a way, because I think that obviously now, I mean, not to compare or anything like that, but there is some sworn in touch, like that sworn in kind of feel or like guitar styles and stuff like that here and there sprinkled in. And I think the Death Card was like a super, like it was like I don't know, that was just like a really cool album. I mean, like it was super cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Death Card. My bandmates, they grew up in the scene before me,
Right.
so they had Born of Osiris, Veil of Maya, Oceano,
Oh wow.
Monsters, Rooks. Like there's a few other bands, but they weren't fans of Sworn In. It's only
Oh
me,
wow.
and I don't write the guitar. So when I tell people, I'm like, I don't write the guitar, and they don't listen to Sworn In. So it's like I never got how we got that, the comparison, because they liked Veil of Maya. Like that's probably our guitarist's biggest influence, dude. Mark Akubo, like
Yeah.
that. That's kind of how I feel like we're like the I don't know, a very mixed in genre, if you will, or band.
Yeah, no, and I think it's really important, like what you said about like comparisons, because I mean, listen, I catch myself doing it in our videos all the time. Like, man, that kind of reminds me of blank, 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 and I've always said to myself, like consciously, like when I'm not doing the videos or whatever, or just like in that moment, I'm like, I've always found that if people don't have anything to compare something to, they're like, this is weird. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? And no, I'm definitely guilty of it, and I try not to be, because I think it's like what you said. I think we're all trying to like do our own thing.
Exactly. No, I do it too. I literally do it. So I totally like I totally get it. I'm like, man, that's the only band y'all gonna get. Like, I don't know. I'm like, there's so many bands. So then someone's like, you guys sound like the funniest one was you guys sound like a heavier 30 Seconds to Mars. I was like, that's what I know that people just like clearly don't. I don't
That is a
know.
very odd. That's like such a like an imagine, like what, that person must have a wild imagination. I mean, that's like crazy.
I, I'll never forget that comment. Like it was like that. You guys sound like Doc Loose. It's like, how do you get that? How do you get that
Yeah,
comparison?
yeah. I
I
don't
just
know.
I
About
think people
that.
like to do that because it's something they're familiar with,
Right.
and when you attach that, it's like it's giving you a reason why you like or dislike something. Like,
Right.
oh, I like Sworn In, and this is why I like this because I think it sounds like it. Like it's the closest thing they can be getting instead of listening to that band.
Yeah, it's a very interesting psychological
It is.
portion of it. Yeah.
You hear a sound and you're like, it's this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do that with riffs. I was like, I I don't even want to name the riff, but there's one riff on a band that everybody likes, and I'm like, bro, that is literally a Barrier breakdown. There's a band
Mhm.
called Barrier,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they came from our area as well. And I straight up was listening to this song, and this record came out in 2017, and it was like the same breakdown, and no one else caught this
Oh,
besides
interesting.
me. But I'm not
Interesting.
I'm not gonna like say like, yo, it sounds like this. But
If you would like to, you should tell me
yeah, no,
off the air.
I'll show
Yeah.
it. I'll send it to you. But
Yeah, I got it now. I'm very curious, because no, I mean, so like Barrier is one of those bands that I've known of, but like I said, my evolution into like this area of the scene is very interesting, because I kind of didn't like, my first metalcore band that I ever really listened to was As I Lay Dying, and that was in like 2010. So like
okay,
I kind of missed, like the rise core kind of stuff. Like I missed all that. So like, we get a lot of requests to check that stuff out, and I'm like, not really into this stuff, to be honest, but yeah, it's interesting, like how people like get into this, and how you're saying some of your bandmates are into Veil of Maya and Born of Osiris, and I totally missed the beginning of all that.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that either. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm the same way. Literally, I got in the scene at 2011 was my first show in the scene.
yeah.
It was like December of 2011, and Barry was actually on that bill, which is really funny. But um, the bands I liked was like Attack Attack. I did like that was Rise Core, but I liked Attack Attack, Asking Alexandria. Um, Trying to think who else. Oh, of Mice and Men.
I didn't even go to my first concert till like 2014 or something. Like I kind of came into it late.
That's your first concert?
Yeah, it was actually Mayhem Festival.
I went to that.
Yeah.
It was Code Orange played that, right? 2014.
Honestly, they might have, but back then, I didn't even know who that was.
It was Avenged Sevenfold and
Yeah.
Korn. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
No, I went to that. I saw what's Ice-T's band? Body Count. I
Yeah.
seen Body Count. I saw Code Orange. I think King 810 played. I
Yep.
think. So no, I I went to that year too.
Yeah. At that point, yeah. I mean, I was pumped for Avenged, and then was that the same bill? I think probably Whitechapel played that. Maybe I can't remember. It might have been. Maybe I went to the one the year. I definitely saw Avenged, but it might have been at like Uproar Festival or something.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, I think I went to Mayhem probably a year later. Because I remember the first band I ever saw on a stage was Seven Dust, and it was at that festival, and then that's where I saw Whitechapel, and then that is really what kind of got me into really like wanting to do vocals, because I saw Phil and I was like, that dude's this big, how's he doing this?
That was I don't really like deathcore.
Yeah,
But that band, dude, I was listening to that like both their first two records all the time in ninth grade. I just remember it was that and The Story So Far. I don't know why. Like
very
those are
polar opposite.
polar opposites, but those two bands, like I listened to a lot in like ninth grade, and that feels so good. Like that band just in general is so good. And we actually have what was it? What's his name? I can't think right now. My mind's drawn a blank. Alex, right? Their guitarist.
Oh yeah, yep.
We just got his signature. Alex Wade. We just got his signature.
Wade, yeah.
Signature guitar. So I don't know. I like Whitechapel though.
Yeah, no, because I have a Whitechapel tattoo. That's how into it I am.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I have them. I have As I Lay Dying. I have an Amira tattoo, of course, and a random thrash metal band by the name of Battlecross. So I was.
Oh, I know Battlecross.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah. They
super into them.
used to play around here all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were like pretty hot there for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
They actually put out like good stuff. Like that's the thing too. Like, I mean, like they weren't just like a flash. I mean, like they had like 3 albums which were all like pretty sick.
Oh yeah, I cannot name you one song, but
Yeah.
I always saw their logo on flyers, and they always played at this venue called The Wire,
Okay.
over in Berwyn, which actually closed down. But that and Penny Road Pub, I
Interesting.
always seen them. Always
Yeah.
seen that name.
Yeah, I was super into them for a minute, but no, it's yeah, but so like I saw Phil and I was just like, damn, I gotta try doing this vocal thing. So somewhere in the internet archives, somewhere out there is a iPhone like 4 cover of me doing the track Possibilities of an Impossible Existence off of their self-titled
Oh man.
probably very entertaining to watch. But so now, when I'm going to go back to the features for a second here, because, like I said, you guys have a lot of them, which I think is really cool. So, like, what was like the first one for you where you were like, "Damn, we got that guy"?
Dude, honestly, it was Tyler Denon, dude.
Yeah,
Straight
really?
up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've always been a huge Sworn fan. I think that band's sick. Start End, like when that EP came out, even though he's not on it, even though Tyler's not on it, just brings back just wholesome memories in my mind. But Tyler just came in there, and that was the first time a feature did it in the studio.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? He
Yep.
was there tracking when we tracked. Like, we didn't just get it back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was cool. And then Ben Keller, I don't know if you remember a band called Villains.
Vaguely. Yeah.
Youth
Vaguely.
Forever, they had to change their name to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he hopped in there, and he also did his spot just like one take. I
Wow.
was like, what? I don't know. I was so hyped. Like, at the time, like, we recorded that record in 2014. So, how long ago was that? 7 years already.
That's crazy.
So, at the time, those two guest features, it was just really cool, and it was nice that they said they would do it and everything. So,
That's really cool. Yeah. I'm just gonna apologize in advance because my cat likes to like go into like these meowing fits. I don't know why, but this cat,
it's I don't hear it, but that was like when my mom came up the stairs. You didn't see it, but I was like,
yeah.
Mom.
Now my cat, he'll be like super quiet, and then like it's like almost like he knows I'm doing one of these podcasts. He just comes, he's like meow, meow, meow. Yeah,
Food, food,
he
food.
just yeah. Well, I always make sure to feed him before one of these, hoping
Yeah.
that will like
Shut him up.
right, for the lack of it. Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't. It doesn't. And so
No.
I don't know, but no. Okay, so Ty. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can imagine, especially him being from that area, that must have been super cool. But so like,
I'm waiting for you to ask it. I know. I have a feeling I know you're going to say something about one of the features.
oh, I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
Now you got I gotta look while I talk.
Look at volume 3. Look at volume 3.
Oh, now you're gonna make it easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I actually remember seeing that, like a related YouTube video or something like that.
Yep. I was like waiting. I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. So you have him and Kadeem. That's pretty sick. That's sick.
Kadeem, that was before Loathe,
Oh yeah.
all of a sudden got all this attention, well deserved too. I love that band.
I remember seeing them in like a very small venue with Wage War.
Wage War, yeah.
Yep.
We went to that tour too. It was like Wage War, Burials, and Loathe, and what's Ocean's 8 Alaska? Did they play? I think
they might have actually. Maybe I remember those three bands that Burials.
Kadeem was actually sick, and they all had gotten sick on that package, and it was one of the last dates, if I'm not mistaken, and their guitarist had to do all the vocals that night.
Oh, so, wow.
I was like, I saw Loathe, but not in the, not in the real form.
Yeah, damn. No, I only saw probably half of their set because I got there late and I was like, yeah, Wage War. And I was like, what's Loathe? And then I saw him live. I was like, God damn, that's low. Okay.
Yeah, no, John actually introduced me, our vocalist. He introduced that band to me. And I love It's Yours. Like, that was the first song that I really
song for me too. Yeah.
Really love that song. And then, White Hot came out, and I think that was kind of just what started to escalate that band. But that album was so good. I listened to it again probably like a month ago, just in my car. I was like, it's so sick. And the new record's great, obviously, but that first, I think it was a record or EP or extended EP, I don't know.
Did they do like a split with Holding Absence or something like that?
I think so. Yeah. That's where White Hot is on, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's funny you say that again, because for me it was It's Yours and then White Hot.
Yep.
The same exact progression.
It was like Babylon. That's on that record. That song's good as hell. It's like, you go back into when you get it really like a band and you go back, you're like, wow. The whole discography is just great. I don't know.
Exactly. No,
I love
for
that
sure.
band,
now, okay. Since you kind of gave me, a hanging curveball on this one, I'm gonna have to hit it out of the park. You're gonna talk to me about Frankie.
Yeah. I was waiting for that, dude. We were actually talking to Frankie about he had like his label, and so at
Oh
that
yeah,
time
Red
that
Zone
was
Records. Yeah.
yeah. So I think we were talking to him right after Crippling Form dropped in like 2017. Ryan was getting a tattoo, and he messaged the page, which was really cool. And we hopped on a call or whatever, and we were gonna get on Red Zone, but then he just told us that I just think I don't know if I could do that much for you, whatever. And I'm like, no, I feel you, you know what I mean? And I think at the time we were kind of like a little younger. I don't think I would sign to a label right now, still.
Yeah.
And but I'm always intrigued by offers.
Yeah.
And long story short, I asked him like, yo, you want to like do this feature or whatever? And he's just like, yeah, I'm down. And then like send him off the stuff and everything. And we agreed on, uh, obviously you got to pay for vocal features to
Right.
track at least,
Of course. Yeah.
So he did that, and he was gonna do a music video, but
Wow.
the schedules conflicted on the tour he was doing. But no, Frankie, super just down to earth guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I like when he kind of talks. He'll like tweet stuff about the industry and stuff like that, and I think give just good knowledge
Yeah.
because he was in this for how long,
Been in it forever. I mean, he's like
and
16 years old. It's crazy.
yeah, and he's probably seen it all at this point. And one day I would love to even pick his brain more and stuff. But I just feel like he just has that mentality of just it's not about just climbing a ladder now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I appreciate when people have that outlook. It's not about like climbing and that whole thing and thinking you're successful because
Right.
of X and Y and I don't know.
Exactly. No. So yeah, for this podcast, my very first episode was Frank because I'm like, listen, I'm kicking this thing off hot. I mean, it's got.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I tell because I've emailed him a couple times since then, and I'm like, hey man, I don't know if you remember. He goes, of course I remember. He was like, what do you think? My memory's that bad or something like that. He's a cool dude. But I tell him all the time, I'm like, listen, man, I just love your freaking band, so I'm gonna try to like keep my fangirling like in check.
To a
But
minimum.
yeah, but I listen, I tell him straight up. But but yeah, so like you had just mentioned that you said that you wouldn't sign to a label right now. Of course, offers are intriguing, like you said, but I mean, you guys have been doing this independent since day one. So, like, how come? I guess is my question. 'Cause
um,
I agree with you, but I'm curious.
kind of in the midst of um labels either don't want you. We've never like submitted to one or
Yeah,
whatever, but we've gotten like a few offers. But in retrospect, it's like, do labels want you, or they're gonna change you, or they're not gonna allow you to like. We kind of sporadically will put out something just because. Why not?
right.
And I
Why
just,
not?
bands don't really have that mentality. They're like, we're not gonna just put out something just because. But I just don't want to be a band that does things by the book.
Yeah,
And I just feel like with labels, sure they give you money, they give you
yeah,
money and they give you tour support and they give you this and that, but at the end of the day, like I just didn't think that's just the road that we wanted to necessarily take because although it's harder, independent, like straight, just trying to grind, it just feels very fulfilling. Like when you get an opportunity because of you and not because of somebody else.
yeah,
And I've literally been managing this project our entirety of the band too. And I don't know. It's nice when you have someone in your corner. Believe me, I wouldn't mind that at this point. But if you got to do things yourself when you get things done, it just feels so much more like of an accomplishment than having someone else like pull all the strings and do everything. And when you do things yourself, it's just I'm very much of a person that is pretty prideful, I guess. So it's like
yeah.
I like to do shit on my own, and So when the time, or if it comes, whatever, and we get successful, whatever, like it's gonna be awesome. But if we don't, we don't. I don't think I want to go the smoke and mirrors route of like you have this many streams,
Right.
mostly because your label's paying for it. I mean, they're paying for marketing. They have a huge budget for it, you
Budget,
know?
yeah.
And you could pay for marketing yourselves, but it's just an easy go. You get in all these outlets, this and that, but now I'm rambling. But that's a huge reason. It's just I didn't know where we wanted to go at this, and I think when you're with a label and you're unsure, you're just going to go down a road that is miserable. And
Yeah.
I seen it from our friends' bands, you know, like I seen a bunch of bands sign to a label and break up a year later. So
Yeah, and I mean, and by the way, you're not rambling because like this podcast here. I mean, I've gone numerous hours. We just talk until the conversation, just kind of comes to a natural end. But no, so definitely ramble as much as you want. It's not rambling. It's called content.
content.
But, yeah, but I mean, listen. You guys got. I know that you just mentioned the streams, whatever, but you got 43,000 people who listen to your music every month on Spotify. I mean, that's pretty goddamn cool.
It's slow progression. You know, I look at numbers, and I think when you dive too far deep into that numbers game, it will just make you kind of depressed. I've seen, like, I saw someone else talk about it. I think it was just somebody on Twitter, someone in Kingdom of Giants, I think, they're guitarists.
Okay.
And everybody wants to compare streams and kind of make
Yeah.
that as if you have these amount of streams, you're just better than another band. It's like that's not the case. I
Yeah.
don't think those numbers will dictate how like you can draw or how good of a band you are. And that would be just advice for even smaller artists than us. Like don't be too wrapped up in that
Right.
because it will just like eat you alive. It's a new generation now. Like there are bands that I know are way bigger than us and we have more streams than them. And I know that we can't outdraw that band. And I think if you start to have some kind of a head because you have like a million streams, like I could have one stream or a million, I'm still going to be like the same person.
Right.
And I think people got to look at it that way instead of just always comparing themselves to other people and thinking that all these numbers are going to determine your worth and success. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Who am I? I'm a nobody.
Well, no,
But
I think that's a really good, I think that's a really good point, though. I mean, I think, speaking from our point of view, we're kind of known as, and I know what we're known at. We're known as the reaction band. Like, I get it, I understand it, but like, I'm like, man, like I say to the guys all the time when we get together, I'm like, man, I can't wait for shows to come back because I actually have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder to like prove to
yep,
people
yep.
that listen, we can do this shit on the road, live. We can do this. Like we're not just shooting the shit on reaction videos and doing some songs every now and then.
Well, you guys did you did something cool though. That's you went outside the box and you're going to be like band does a reaction. And now reaction videos are happening more often, but you've been doing it for so like longer than a lot of these people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're putting out quality content and you thought outside the box enough to do that. I don't just like we'll be the merch band for the rest of our lives.
You
I know
guys
how
do
it
have some
is.
pretty sick
We have
merch.
we have a lot of merch. We put out like constantly we put out merch. And that's like probably what we're known for now. But it's all about thinking outside the box and pulling people in instead of like here's my song. Like everybody
Right.
could do that. Here's my song. Like you're
Right.
actually putting in the effort to make something different. So and I think you're standing out because of that. So
Well, I really do appreciate that because I think that was definitely something that I was like, guys, we got to think of a way to differentiate ourselves from the other 400,826 metalcore band. I mean, there's literally so many. There's like
there's
so many.
more now than I swear ever in my entire existence.
It's crazy. Like every time I turn around, I got like a
The
new
new one.
email. I got a new email from somebody like, "Hi, we are X band from X area. We just for." I'm like, "What the hell? It's crazy."
And there'll be bands coming out the jump like all of a sudden they have they have like 2 million streams, 100,000 followers
Yeah.
on monthly listeners, and I'm like never heard of them, and I'm like I know a lot of music, all right, like
Yeah.
how did that just come about out of nowhere? I'd
Yeah. Well,
like to
yeah. I mean, hey, listen, bots have got to listen to music
know.
too. You know what I mean? They got to listen
Yeah,
to
bro.
some
I
freak.
don't know. I don't know.
I mean, just go check their numbers 30 days later. It's a lot different looking after
Yeah,
30 days.
or when everything changes again, the algorithm and all that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see where your numbers are in a few years.
Yeah. Well, exactly. No, but no, and that's one thing that I really did respect about your band as well, is because I know that you guys have been at it like, DIY, like the definition of it since day one. And like, you've done I sound like an idiot saying this, but like the road warrior
The
touring
road
stuff,
warrior.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
I've
you've been on the road a lot, and I think that's really cool.
thank you. Now, I was gonna say the sleeping on the ground warrior. I've literally slept on so many hardwood floors. I've slept on the ground outside, like on a tissue box. I have literally like not skipped any step.
That's crazy.
Like some people, like, oh, we skipped a step, hurrah! And I'm like, I don't mind not skipping a step. You know why? Because if we ever get, you know, into the next step, all those other ones are gonna just feel like, wow, like I did that, like ground up, didn't have I didn't get to skip no steps.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I think I really do admire that, because it is something that I'm not sure I'll experience to the same degree, only because I have a 10-year-old son.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, I have a 10-year-old son, and then Adam has 2 daughters. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we're definitely gonna we definitely want to hit the road, but we kind of have to be, I don't want to say selective because that's a bad word, but it just can't be every opportunity that
Oh no,
is
no.
possible.
I think after COVID, that's literally what's going to be happening with a lot of bands. You can't take that risk of just, we don't know how long this pandemic's going to last. We don't know how long
Yeah.
this COVID's going to last, and you're literally putting your body and mental health and all this stuff at risk when you go on the road. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So I do believe bands are going to be a lot more selective. I think only the quote unquote strong, will survive. And as a lot of people saw with this pandemic, a lot of bands, have either haven't done anything or broke up or, what have you. So the
Yeah.
bands that stuck around through this past year, props to them.
Yeah. And so like, what do you make of, bands that maybe didn't break up, but they just kind of like took the year off, so to speak? Because I think from my point of view, I'm like, damn, that's a prime opportunity for content. But, you come from a kind of a different point of view, whereas you have been touring a lot. Like, it's just kind of it's like a kind of a different perspective maybe, but like, I'm just curious how you look at that.
Um, so I personally would never take a year off.
Yeah.
I think, especially when you're doing things independently, you do not have room to do that. You don't, if you're a smaller artist, you don't really have the room to take a year off. And if you do, you're going to be forgotten about. Like everybody's attention span is so short that you could be hyped 2 years ago and probably everybody forgot you at this point. And
Right.
that's the sad but true. But when you're an established artist and you took the year off, and some of these artists probably have kids maybe,
Yeah.
or, working on themselves or
Right.
this, that, and the other, when they come back, they'll probably still have that same following. It really just depends on you and if you're still keeping up with your socials or you're still just making it known that you're doing music and you're ready to go back on the road, whatever. And for example, like Spite hasn't put out anything, but I think when they release their album, people are going to be like really hyped about it. So I think it just depends. But I personally would never just take a year off. But
Yeah. let's just say I've heard from sources about some of the spite stuff, so I'm pretty excited. I've heard
Oh,
from some sources
sources.
from I do have a journalism degree, so I can say that,
Oh, writing it down, writing it
yeah, sources.
down.
I'm like Adam Schefter over here, but
My sources has said this
yeah,
person has got traded again,
yeah,
or they always say that, and then sometimes it does not come true. I'm
yeah.
like, Adam, the worst one is like Bill Nightingale.
Oh, Bob Nightingale, yeah,
Bob, oh my God. Like he'll be
yeah.
like, my sources, and then like, Bob, you didn't even spell the tweet right. It's like you need to sit down.
Yeah, but it's yeah, yeah, I don't know. I just taking a year off. I mean, I saw a lot of bands in our local area do that, and I'm like, damn, man, because it's like it's tough. I mean, just to kind of go back to streams for a second. I mean, you see the numbers, like the streams are like when the song first comes out, they're at a point, and then they slowly kind of trickle down, and then
Yep.
I mean, so it's like people after 2 days are like, all right, what's next? What's next? What's
Exactly.
next?
They're like everything is about what are you doing next, not what
Yeah,
you're doing currently. And the one thing about touring, what kept people's attention is like a tour, like you don't need to release a song like on the tour. You know what I mean? People are
yeah,
gonna be like, they're out on the road and you're posting content pictures from tour. It's just a consistent basis.
yeah,
So now, without touring, which is a lot of these musicians' livelihoods, it's just like you kind of lose that step of
yeah.
wanting to do a lot, and so I fully get taking a break as well, as not. So it just depends on who you are.
Sure. But it sounds like to me that you're somebody who kind of, I guess, like eats, sleeps, and breathes victims, which I think is kind of cool. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's
Unfortunately, no.
yeah.
it's it's I work hard so the rest don't have to, but not as much. But no, this is literally something I love more than anything. I've gotten through, like, we went through multiple members because they don't have that same vision. They don't want to do touring. They don't want to take it as serious. And I don't know. This is just my passion, my love, my attempted career,
Career.
quotations, um, and I don't know. It's probably given me the most like joy, like
Yeah.
and holding on to my youth as much as possible. I think that's why I stay in a band and do this as long as I do.
Well, I did see your Facebook post about saying that you miss being a kid. What made you say that?
Well, I'm turning 25.
Wow, I must be ancient if that
No, no, no. But like, I'm turning 25, and I think I even remember, just going outside and playing sports. Like, sports was something that I love doing more so than even playing music. Like, that was the first thing I loved doing. But I knew I wasn't going to be the first woman baseball player. So I had to, I quit. And that's what drew me into music. But I just miss being active and friends wanting to go out. And now everyone's becoming an adult, and other people have responsibilities, and it just I don't know, you miss it. You only get together with
Yeah.
friends here and there. You only do this, and it's getting dark, but you're losing people in your life
Yeah.
constantly, like, and you just
Yeah.
it's a big huge realization, like the ignorance that, or the naive when
Yeah.
you're young to a lot of different things, and now you're subjected to a lot of dark things every day on social media and on the news and this and that, and
Yeah.
it just kind of gets you down, and you just kind of wish you could go back and relive uh, the better times.
Yeah, no, I totally know where you're coming from because it's weird, right? It's like you kind of have like that phase of when you're a kid until like probably like I don't know, at least teenage up until your teenage years, and then there's like that like not like an awkward period, but there's like a period where you don't really consciously think about that. And then I think it was like when I turned like 25 in that area that I started thinking like, damn, like time just goes by
so fast.
so, and that plus watching my son grow up,
Yep.
it's crazy because I mean I think back all the time. I mean, to me, my fondest memory, like you mentioned, playing sports, and I was very shy growing up, so I didn't really play in a whole lot of organized sports. I was like very shy, but I used to play World of Warcraft with my friends,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I just remember back like to those memories, and like though that was like, and I still play that game to this day. So it's like anytime I log on to that, I'm like, damn, like I just remember like 15 years ago playing. It's crazy. It's truly like we sound like super boomers or whatever.
I know.
But it's like like I mean, it feels like to me like it feels like 2005 wasn't that long ago, but it really
it,
was.
it really was. And I saw some of my childhood friends like yesterday. That's like it was like after it was like at night, like pretty late, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and we just talked for like 2 hours.
yeah,
I know we were talking until like 1 a.m. I was like, why are we hanging out at like 11 p.m. right now? But um, after I did my family thing, I saw them for a little bit, and we were just talking about all of our memories and this and that. And one of my friends I've been friends with for 20 years.
yeah. I was gonna ask you that because so I know like for me, I have a lot of the same friends I had from growing up or high school and stuff like that. Is that the case with you?
Yeah, high school not so much because I transferred to a different school because I got
Oh,
into this like special program that only 25 kids were allowed in.
oh, okay,
And
okay.
I I switched high schools because I thought it would kind of push me because I'm not I'm shy when I'm out of my element.
Yes,
So
same.
I knew if I transferred schools, I'd be out of my element. But I did that because you will probably drift from the people in high school anyway.
Yeah,
So mentally, I was gearing myself up for it, and I pulled the trigger and just like went to another school. But all of the people I grew up with in my neighborhood, I still talk to, and I've been friends with like 10 plus years, and it's like a wild feeling, like you've known all these people for over a
yeah.
decade, and
No, it is.
that was the realization. Like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I I kept like most of my friends though. Like,
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I mean, like one of my longest friends who I still talk to pretty frequently. I mean, not as much, obviously, with life and stuff like that, but his name is James, and I've been friends with him since I was 6 years old. I mean, it's been a long time.
yeah,
It's been crazy. It's really crazy to think about because I don't know, and I know we're getting really deep here, but that's okay. This is what this podcast is about: metalcore and life.
in
But
life.
I don't know. There's something that I've thought about a lot of, and it's like, do I miss like certain things that happened, or is the nostalgia missing the time that it encapsulated? Like for instance, like when I was younger, I don't miss like necessarily being younger, but it was just the catalyst kind of for like having no responsibilities, playing World of Warcraft for 10 hours a day. Like it was just kind of like you were just a free spirit in a way.
No, I totally I feel that. We used to stay up playing RuneScape.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yep.
RuneScape, literally, that was the game, and it was, I talk on my on the phone with my friend Nick, and we'd be on there playing like every night. And that was before it got all weird, and they got an update, and I think
They,
it's okay now, but
yeah, they released the old version.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there was like a new version that at a point in time I was like, y'all just gonna change the game like that?
Yeah.
But nah, I totally understand like where you're coming from. It's like at the time you're like, was it really that good? Because you
Yeah.
don't know because we've aged. I just think a lot of the time, yeah, we as people, we want to consistently look at the past instead of like staying in the present, and that's why everybody's anxious or depressed or this or that because you're
Yeah.
constantly looking behind and or ahead, and you're not just like existing in the now. And I have trouble doing that sometimes, you know. And I think shows was the one thing that I can completely exist in the now and forget everything else around
Yeah.
me.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense because I mean, for the shows that we've played, obviously it hasn't been anything like you guys have done with traveling and whatnot, but there's something very special about being on that stage, even if it's in front of two people. Of course, you want more people, but in the beginning, even if it's two people, there's just something about like this is like the ultimate like I don't know what it is. It's like you just need that confidence, like it is
Yeah.
the ultimate confidence test in a way.
No, I totally feel you. And I don't think what kind, like we've done touring or whatever, but I don't think, even if you haven't, like it doesn't take away from that same feeling or
Right.
experience, or everybody is just completely different. Everyone's living life in a totally different perspective, that's the coolest thing. And any show I literally get hyped on, like one person, 1,000 people, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like I always perform the same, and I always just like let loose and do my thing, you know. And I don't know, it's a
Yeah.
great feeling.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's, and I think the reason why I've been thinking about kind of like the nostalgia factor so much, and it sounds so silly when I say it, but like to me it means a lot. So like the game World of Warcraft, like what RuneScape did, they released the old version of it. World of Warcraft's doing the same thing.
I heard about this. All right. Disclosure. Our guitarist plays World of Warcraft. This is how I know these things.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so they re-released the original version. Now they're about to re-release the first expansion pack for it, and that's when I first started playing. So that's coming out, and I'm like, I have all these feelings because it's like this was like who I was. Like this was my literal identity for like 20 years. So it's like it's gonna be a trip down memory lane, and it's gonna be like that ultimate like nostalgia versus reality kind
Oh
of
no.
confusing. You know what I mean? And it's like damn, this game sucks or whatever, you know?
Yeah, the realization that it's like wasn't as good as you thought,
Yeah.
but then sometimes though it could surprise you,
Yeah.
because like we were playing Madden, or not Madden, Street 2. You remember Street
Oh,
2?
wow.
I was
Yeah.
playing that
Yeah.
like not too long ago. And I'm like, this game is still sick. Like the soundtrack's still good. It came out, I think, in 2004, and I don't know. I was like, I could still play this nostalgic and old games and still enjoy them the same.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, one of the first football game I ever played was like a Blitz, like 98 or
Blitz.
99 or
Yep,
something.
yep, yep.
And I never knew how to play any of these football games, so I'd always take the safety and make him like go to like the
Oh
zone
yeah, the
line.
end zone, and you like, I did that in Madden. I used to do that because like like I was always good at offense, but I
Yeah,
feel like defense is kind of boring.
I still suck at defense. So,
Yeah, exactly. So like I just put them. I would be like ding 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 ding, like put them all the way back there. It's like, all right, guys.
yeah, that's so funny you say that. Yeah, it's so funny like when you think of like even just like video games and like you're like I used to play a game this way and you think like you're the only one who ever did that. Like everybody else did that or whatever.
Yep, yep.
Like I saw like Finn McKenty. This has nothing to do with video games, but Finn McKenty, he put out a video a tweet that it was like it's one of those, it kind of relates to it in terms of like I thought that this was isolated to like my school, but it was like, you remember when you were in elementary school and they said that if you wore an earring on your right ear that you were considered gay?
Yeah,
And I remember
yep.
that because I had earrings when I was in third grade. And I was like, damn, that's like a thing that's everywhere. It's just crazy like how all that stuff can spread and be everywhere.
That and the S.
Yeah.
Remember that, like the S?
Yes. Where did that S come from?
I don't know, but everyone, like when you were bored in school, you would just like, it was like check 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you like connect them.
Yeah.
And I was always, I don't know why I was like dumb, but I like couldn't get it sometimes. I would like fuck it up, and I'm like, okay, dude, like I used to draw cubes, like you know, like when you figured out how to
3D cube.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to just do that. I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. So I just like after a test or whatever, I get out like a sheet of paper and just write or draw the cubes and make like so many of them. I was like, because I didn't have like a cell phone. I know kids had cell phones. I feel bad actually for people who have had cell phones,
I didn't have
like
one
in
until I
middle
was
school and
17,
stuff.
straight up.
I got mine. It was like, like a BlackBerry, but like it would be the Walgreens brand of like
Yeah.
a BlackBerry. That's what I had, and still to this day, like I just don't text very often. I just don't care for it. I don't care for like constantly talking to people and
Yeah.
being and like always being available. And I think that's why I don't like randomly message people a lot. I kind of just stick to if you have questions about victims and I'll like answer it. But
Yeah.
I just prefer like in person or something
Yeah.
like this, just
Right.
a lot more than texting and knowing my everyday. And I don't know. I don't have Snapchat. I don't do that. And
I got rid of that a while ago
yeah,
too. I just think that's a very silly app. I don't know.
that's how I feel. I just I don't want to document like every ounce of my life, I
People
guess.
do
And
though. People
I
do.
know.
It's
And
crazy.
they're just the whole time staring at their phone. And I'm not trying to judge nobody because
No. But
but
I mean, it's a fact. I mean, it's just
and it
yeah,
just totally takes you out of
reality.
reality and and the moment of you could actually be sharing like, I don't know, a real conversation with somebody.
Yep.
So
No, and yeah, because I know for like our band, I'm kind of in a similar role as you, where Adam's like he does the music because I don't know how to play guitar, and like I literally it would be no music if I had. But so I kind of handle like the social media and stuff like that, and whatnot, and I do. I mean, I find myself on there very often just to promote the band and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's really what it is. But like yeah, I don't know. It is crazy. Like I like sometimes like there's been weeks, you know how like iPhones will send you like your screen time for the week, and I'm like, God damn, that's a lot.
I and especially with this lockdown, I think that
Yeah.
was the what kind of, because I wake up, I still do wake up, check your phone, like that's
Yep.
just a habit for so many.
Yeah.
And I just think about, on the road, I like, unless we're driving, I like never use my phone. I just try to stay in the present moment as much as possible. And I just, after being in lockdown and constantly looking at my phone, I feel like that has burned me out completely.
Yeah.
Like I used to post, used to like, you have to stick on social media just to make your band still like,
Relevant
hey,
or
we're
whatever.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't even like posting. Like I don't know what to post. I have nothing interesting to say too much times, and like I don't want to constantly just post victim stuff, but that's what I find myself. That's it. That's like all I got to tell everybody because I got nothing.
Yeah. Well, because I think nowadays too, I think a lot of people really are interested in like, I know this is gonna sound very like Kardashian-y or whatever, but like,
Cardat.
but they like the
The
access.
drama.
Yeah, like they love the access. Like, what does Meredith do in her spare time? Why aren't you on Twitch? You got to share with or whatever.
Yep, yep.
And like I know that we're on Twitch and stuff like that, and people just I think like really can connect with a band more so that way, and I think that's why they seek it out. I don't know though. It's interesting.
I like Twitch because it's more of a virtual experience, but
Yeah,
um yeah, people like to sort it out, and then I think people also miss like the mystery though, because
yeah.
if you know everything about somebody already, then what? I don't know what's the
What's the allure? Yeah,
yeah, and like
yeah,
what's gonna be interesting anymore? And it's cool when you know personal things because you could talk about it maybe like. Now I know you like World of Warcraft, and you know what I mean, and
yeah,
football. We shoot the shit for that,
yeah.
but for like everyday life, it's like you don't have to let everybody in.
Right.
And
Exactly.
used to do that more, like let a lot of people in like constantly. And
Hmm.
now I kind of like, I'll post here and there whatever I'm feeling instead of forcing it because I'm just I can't consistently build my own content. I'm doing the victims content already, so it's like
Yeah,
I can't do my and the
it's a
victims.
lot.
It's just so much, and
I
I think
mean, oh yeah, go
people
ahead.
don't. Oh, sorry, people don't know that. Like the social media platforms is probably half of being a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight up, like the way you put things out, the way everything looks, the way like just everything. It's
Yeah,
such like it's work. People don't know that. They think, "Oh, social media like
yeah.
it's
They're like,
just you
how's
just
your little
pick and
band thing
post."
go? Yeah, your little band thing. That must be
Yeah,
fun.
and
Yeah.
it's like, no, this part is actually more for me. Doing social media is more taxing than playing by far, and
Oh,
writing everything,
absolutely. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I know that for all of our song releases, like I set up like a 20-day content plan of like post this at this time. And, because the algorithm says that most people are visiting our Instagram page at 3 p.m. on Wednesday or whatever. And, yeah, I get like that. And it is a lot of work. I mean, it really is. I mean, like I've explained to people like on our Twitch streams, like how much goes into releasing one song. Like the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like a video, and like even just the Spotify canvases now, or like
I
social.
know. It's
It's
just
so
so
much.
much.
It's
You gotta have
insane.
the thumbnail, the custom thumbnail. You need to make sure there's not enough too much text because
Yeah,
otherwise,
because Facebook will not like that.
Facebook's like, haha, no,
Yep.
no. And then in your post, I even noticed like social media is just so much experimenting. If you put too much text in your post, it doesn't get good reach. If you do
Yeah.
it at this time or this, and
Yep.
I was like, this was not this much work when what 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and our reach was better. I just remember our reach was better with like 3,000 likes or 4,000 whatever than now with like 20,000. It's so insane to think about how much the organic reach has died,
Been throttled. Yeah.
and I think that's just another thing that's it sucks. Like when you're new, when you're brand new and you're coming into Facebook, you're like, oh, we just use Ad Manager now. We do this and that. But when you first start, you're like, that didn't exist. You
Yeah.
had to find out other ways to get your content out there. And I thought I found some good ways. And then they just took it all away. And it was like, no more organic reach. Like,
Yeah. No, I
bye
know.
bye.
I know. For me, I've literally spent probably the amount of time it would take to earn a bachelor's degree in Facebook ads, just like watching videos. I've signed up for different courses. I'm like, I gotta learn this stuff, and it's always changing anyway. So it's like,
Exact. No, it's ever changing. Like you have to be up on it. Because
yeah,
I just noticed, our old how you can just boost a post and sponsor it, that was working before. Now like
now, nope,
no,
yeah,
like there's like you got to dive in deep. You got to figure out how to do this. And I've asked a few people. Obviously a person that everybody knows and you've talked to a bunch is Jeff.
oh, I love
And
Jeff.
yeah, yeah.
He actually, I have text messages from him right now. So
Oh really? Wow,
yeah,
coincidence.
yeah,
But no, Jeff's been doing this for when
ever.
I heard his age, I was like, "Oh fuck, like he doesn't look his age. He looks
Yeah, he's
like."
67 years old, by the way.
um but no, he's like a genius when it comes to like that stuff for sure. So I've definitely picked his brain quite a few times and just
Yeah,
watched. But at the same time, like something he can do for his bands is not going to always work for somebody else, and it
right.
just is still a learning curve,
Yeah,
and you got to figure out what works for you. And one release like this tactic works, and then the next it doesn't. It's like, Lord help me.
it's crazy. I mean, like we've been releasing songs like every like 2 or 3 months apart, and it's like it's like a whole different. You would think it was 3 years in between songs, just because how everything is so different. It's crazy. I mean, and that's the other reason why we did the YouTube as well, is because it's like we got to put this out to somebody. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so, like, fortunately, we get some traction because of that. But it's like, yeah, I mean, just with Facebook ads, it's like now they've added in that new thing with like, the iOS update where like they
Yep. I
can't
was
track the
literally.
data or anything
Yep.
like that. And it's just like I've kind of reached a point with certain ads, like YouTube ads. Like I'm just like, listen, I'm just gonna pay some. I just don't. I mean, I just don't.
I
Have
don't
the
want to
time.
do it
Yeah,
anymore. Here
yeah.
you go.
I just don't have the time. So here you go. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. And like I've broken it down for people on our Twitch streams, and they're like, really? It's that much? I'm like, hell yeah, it's a lot of money to it's like the amount of money you make from being a metalcore band versus how much it costs to be one is very the seesaw leaning the other way.
Dude, yeah. I literally to start this band up. Oh, so much money. Like the number, like I look back, it's like I write everything down. Like
Oh,
if
really?
there was
Okay.
I write every order that we've had to, just in case now, because as you get into this, you got to do LLC, you got to
Yeah,
get the
we
taxes
just we did that this
down.
year. Yeah.
Yep, that the taxes, the you got to a bunch of stuff comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
where it gets real fun. You thought it was fun before.
Yeah.
But I write everything down. I have it all paper, like pretty much like on my notes on my computer. I have my spreadsheets. Every order I've ever sent out, what day, what was going out. Like it's crazy to keep track of. Actually, it's ridiculous. And I know like I put forth this gigantic effort. I'm sure not a lot of bands do this, but just in case something happens, like I can prove like, hey, like I have my receipts, I can, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just important to track. I even track like sometimes our growth, like in
Oh,
different.
cool.
So, I don't know. It's stupid, but I
Well, no,
just want
I
to
mean
know.
that's
I want
cool.
to know where we are. I guess like, are we like doing good? Are we actually growing at a steady rate? Whatever, and like, how fast are these songs growing and this and that? And I
Yeah.
don't know. It's stupid things, but I get a lot of anxiety if I don't do it. I like
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah, you
I'm
get
like,
very in the
give me
weeds about it. Yeah, no,
it. Yeah.
and the thing is, like, that was like the first thing that we thought of when we started, like, because we put a lot, like any band, you put a lot of money into it up front because you're like, one, you have to, and two, you're like riding high. You're like, all right, let's fucking go, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it reached a point where like, man, we got to figure out a way to at least make this somewhat self-sustained, like somewhat, like there's got to be something. So that's why we do like the Twitch and we have Patreon and all that stuff. And fortunately, that really helps out a lot. And like, I reassure people all the time, like, listen, we don't just pocket this money. This literally, we have to like save up months of this stuff for one song.
That's why we started doing merch. Literally could tell you that's exactly why. I none of us are rich. We don't have here like we don't have
Just
parents
take
that help
grand, go
us,
ahead.
and we don't have any sort of that kind of financial backing. So um victims like the merch drops is literally how we afford everything. And we don't. I know every band works differently,
Yeah,
but we usually put things right back into the band
yep,
a lot of the time. And then touring was like when, we pay ourselves, but obviously that
right.
touring isn't happening anymore. But yeah, I mean, people don't realize music videos, you want to do things right, the artwork, the merch,
Yeah.
like the merch designs if you have merch, and if you put into ads, if you um trying to think what else. There's so much like little videos if you do like little content or like
Yeah, there's always like I always could say like I always come up with like well, this is like our budget, but then I'm like always add in like a few extra $100 just because who the fuck knows what's gonna happen.
well, I used to do what you just said, like you plan each day like when you're going to release stuff.
Yeah,
But I honestly had stopped doing that because I noticed that like you think you have a good plan and then it flops.
yeah,
Like you're like,
oh
"Oh,
yeah,
cool, like this is going to work out great." And then the post flops and you're like, "Okay." So we dropped that Chiodos cover,
yeah.
which was so out of the element again, but we just dropped that like randomly.
It's out
I
of the
didn't
blue too. Yeah.
literally no boost, no ads, nothing. It reached 70,000 people.
Wow.
which is more than like anything we've dropped has. And I was like, okay. So I randomly drop it on a fucking Wednesday. I randomly drop it on a Wednesday. Just, why not? Let's try it. Drop it on a Wednesday in between our album releases. Let's see if this is going to work. Boom. Like literally got 10,000 in the first day. I was like, okay, literally, I give up.
Yeah, I mean,
I give up.
Yeah, I know you can definitely like galaxy brain yourself or whatever into being like, all right, I have the perfect plan. And then like sometimes it's just like as simple as just, here you go, like you never know. But at the same time, you could just put it out and then it flops and then it's like,
I know
it's crazy.
just you never know. And we did the Nameless cover. It was the same thing. That it has like 400K. I literally put $20 into sponsored posts. That's it.
Jeez.
I didn't do nothing. It just grew. I was like, okay. Literally, we never played it live. I've never like promoted it much. That's it. I was like, that's my point to you. Like literally, the thing you wouldn't expect is just it pops off, and you put so much into the album or whatever, and then it flops, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Not saying the album flopped or anything, but I just
Right.
an example.
Right. No, I know what you mean. But listen, I know that I've had you for a while here and I really appreciate all your time. So I'll ask you some of the most important questions and then we'll talk about the album on the way up. But let's talk about Chicago sports. Let's talk about the Bears.
No.
Because listen, because I used to write for the website Bleacher Report.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did for 3 years. I covered the NFL for them. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so when I saw that you were posting about Fire Ryan Pace, I was like, oh, I didn't know that she was into, and then I figured out you were from Chicago, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, because Chicago people in general are very rabid,
angry,
angry and rabid fan bases for whatever.
Yep, we love our teams and we hate them at the same time.
But I mean, you have a good reason to hate the Bears, sort of, because they're like so close, but they cannot get a goddamn quarterback for anything.
I don't foresee them ever getting a quarterback either. I think we're gonna win like 4 games. I honestly hope we win 1, so we get a good draft pick. I hope we win 1 game.
Well, yeah, I saw the stat because obviously they're changing now to 17.
17. I was like, oh, cool, another loss. Yeah, awesome, love it. Against the Raiders,
and all the AFC teams are at home this year too, so the Bears will be on the road, but for that game. But I saw a stat that was like during the 16-game era, the Bears never had a quarterback go over 4,000 passing yards, and I was like, God damn, that bad.
That's how you know it's just misery, dude. It's just you can't win.
Yeah, when the best quarterback in your history is Jay Cutler, it's a problem.
And it wasn't even prime Jay Cutler. It was like after prime. Like 1 year he was really good. It was like 2010. And then the Bears front office was like, oh, Greg Olsen was his highest target. Let's get rid of him. Like, let's get rid of him. And we have no receivers. Oh, Alshon Jeffrey, All-Star? Oh, let's get rid of him too. It's like awesome. Yeah. Like, keep it coming. Like,
I mean, fortunately and unfortunately for him, as soon as he got traded, it almost seemed like he just like just dropped out, like just injuries and everything. He was just like kind of like on the decline. But yeah, when he was with the Bears, he was so good.
He was like one of the best receivers, but now we have Allen Robinson, and they're messing around with him.
See, he's like really good. Like so, like a lot of people who like watch football casual or whatever may not know how good he is, but he's like so good. And that dude's never had a good quarterback. Ever.
No, Blake Bortles, Mitchell Trubisky, and now Andy Dalton. That's like awesome, dude. Like,
how does it make you feel to know that the Bears traded up from 3-2 to draft Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes?
It's probably gonna go down as the worst GM decision in NFL history. Oh, honestly, man. It could.
Damn. Well, at least the Cubs won a World Series a few years ago.
Oh, and now they suck.
Yeah. I'm a Tampa Bay fan, so We've
Oh,
always
the
been like this close.
Rays.
Yeah, we've always been like this. I named my son after Evan Longoria, actually. Yeah,
Oh.
I was a big Evan Longoria fan, but yeah, they've always been like this close, but they never
I
spend
had
more than $40 million a year on players.
I rooted for them in '08, and I rooted for them last year. I had the hat when they first, I think that was the first year they changed their name actually,
Yeah.
and they
Yep.
rebranded. And I have that hat. And the Phillies, they lost to the
Yeah, they got
Phillies.
killed back
Ryan
then.
Howard.
Yeah, pitcher hit a home run and everything. I remember it very clearly.
Yeah, and then last year that one game, the walk off, I was like, that was so hyped. That was like
I
the
know.
best, one of the best moments in baseball history. And
Yeah.
then they just like, let's take out Blake Snell when he's dealing. I was like, bruh, please,
Uh,
Lord help me.
yeah, I'm like, listen, like, it's just never gonna happen with I'm just convinced at this point, like, it's just never gonna happen with the Rays. I don't know because they're very like, it's almost like because they're very good at the analytics of it all and like really saving money, but then that also killed them with Blake Snell, like because the analytics say to take him out. But
And that's kind of what we were talking about, like the analytics for, the drops, the music.
yeah, yeah,
If you're always looking at the stats, you might miss just the most important thing, and that's just the game in general. Like
yeah,
the player, like the stats could say this, but you really, if they're saying they're
yeah,
good, bro, like leave him in.
yeah. It's Blake Snell. This isn't like a bum. Like this is Blake goddamn Snell.
Yeah.
And,
Now if it was let's try to think about somebody who's not that good right now.
oh man, I'll think of like a Rays pitcher from the past, just to like a uh, uh, we could use Chris Archer. Perfect. He used to be on the
Oh,
Cubs.
perfect.
We
Yeah,
could
and
use
he went
Chris
to the
Archer.
Pirates. Yeah,
Yeah, and he
yeah.
sucks. So
Yeah. If it was him, I would get that. But if you Blake Snell's like one of the best in the game,
yeah,
especially last year. So
yeah. I couldn't believe that. But okay, so the Cubs, the Bears. I think they're picking at 20th. What do you hope that they do
they're
in the draft?
they're gonna move. They're gonna move up.
You think so?
Yeah, and I think we're all gonna be like pissed off.
They're gonna go up and get like Mac Jones or somebody like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they're gonna get someone that's irrelevant, that is not gonna help the franchise, and they should just tank. I just want them to tank. That's just my wish, because I want them to re-sign Robinson and tank. That's really it, because I don't foresee with their schedule. It's so hard. It's probably
Yeah.
one of the hardest in the entire league. I don't foresee them doing much. Like, I don't know. It sucks, but
It does because it's like the Bears are like like outside of the quarterback, like they have like a really good team, like it's a really solid team, like
they do.
solid.
But the quarterback, that's the game now. It's
Yeah,
not, a defense cannot win you the game.
no,
It's the
no,
QB, and Tom Brady and the Bucks proved that. I'm
yeah,
sorry that I the red okay, that whole team was good. The whole team was good. We will not discredit that.
yeah.
But without a leader like Tom Brady, they wouldn't have won. No
No, they
way.
wouldn't even have gotten there. Yeah, I mean,
No.
yeah, and but it is kind of funny though. I got to be honest that Andy Dalton might be your best quarterback in the past like 20 years.
I know. Well, hopefully maybe he'll perform better than Mitch, but I don't want them to go 8-8. I would rather see them win one game than 8 games.
Yeah, no, for sure, because then they're just stuck in like
The
20th every
same,
year.
exactly, and you're never gonna move up in the draft. And the Jets have so many good picks right now.
They just can't never execute on them. But yeah,
I don't think they're going to either. I personally am the believer that Jets will always suck.
like the problem is like they don't build around they're just like, all right, we drafted you at number 2 overall, Sam Darnold, like now just
And then let's
good
have the
luck.
worst line in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay.
And that's the one thing that really frustrates me about Mitchell Trubisky is because his team is good and he's just bad. I mean, he's just not good.
And the line was okay, the line was kind of bad, to be fair, but then they got better and he just showed that he really just sucks.
Yeah, and they have like like good receivers around him too. Like I know they had like Anthony Miller, who was pretty good. They had you know, obviously Allen Robinson,
and they can throw to
Darnell
he
Mooney.
got hurt, Mooney,
Yeah,
and then like Cordell, and now he's not in the fucking Bears anymore.
yeah.
But like Cordell, oh wait, I'm not supposed to swear. I don't think
No, you can.
Patterson's gone too, and it's
Yeah,
like dwindling,
yeah.
dwindling.
No, yeah, it's crazy. I was hoping they'd get Russell Wilson, but it sounded like they offered a lot to get
And
him.
they said no. They was Khalil Mack, um, 3 first rounds. It was like a second round too, and then it was
His thing was
Khalil
Don
and Akeem Hicks.
and Akeem Hicks. Okay, yeah.
And I was like, you guys said no to that. I think I would have taken that because
Probably.
the Seahawks aren't gonna win another title. I can literally bet my life on that.
I was
Well,
hoping.
okay, I'm not gonna bet my life, but
Well, yeah, yeah. I was hoping, like at the beginning of it, before like 55 lawsuits later, that they would get Deshaun Watson. But now, who knows if he's even going to play at this point?
well, that would be a bad look on them now.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, it would have been a classic Bears fashion to trade for him, and then
then it happens, and then he wouldn't play. So at least that's the, look
that's
at that
the upside, yeah.
glass half full right there.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, I had a really great time talking to you. It's really cool, like, because obviously we've talked a little bit here and there on Facebook, but nothing, crazy. And it's just,
Yeah, nothing extensive. So I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but
yeah, but I just talk and talk forever.
same.
So, yeah. But so the record is coming out. Is it? No, don't tell me. I'm gonna. Okay, I just saw it earlier. Is it July 9th? I'm gonna give myself an applause. I have this little mix board. I'm gonna give myself an applause.
Like the Friends, like
Yeah, I have like a laugh track. Over
Yep, the laugh track.
Yep.
Woo.
But so the album is coming out July 9th. Now that's a little ways away. And now I believe you've released, what is it, 2 singles off of there? 2? So, I mean, I'm just gonna guess that we're probably gonna get a few more. So 5 total.
5? I don't know about 5, maybe, but
You did this. That's why I thought 5. So 4. So 2 more. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Maybe one is dropping this month. I don't know.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
At 2 p.m. not really.
Yeah. Now people are gonna be like, "Where is that?"
2 p.m.
So I can't see it on Spotify. That's the one thing I don't like about Spotify. So you can't see, like on iTunes, you can see it ahead of time. But I think I saw it was like 13 tracks.
Yeah.
And, so like, I know this is kind of like a really, I try to avoid like the super cliche questions, but fuck it. Like what's like the one song that you're like really stoked on? Like that may not be a single, but like the one that you're like, yeah, like this is the one for me personally.
I really like even though it is a single, I really like New Face. But the last song in the album is my favorite song. I
think that's
probably not by far, but no, it's not like anything else on the record, and yeah, it's probably the most personal song in the album. So,
and I saw that one was the longest at 4 minutes, I believe.
The one, it's like I don't like 4-minute songs, but
I definitely looked because I was like, dang, they did they write this album for me? All these songs are short as hell.
2.5 minutes.
I was like,
perfect.
No, but we'll definitely be sure on our channel to check out whatever you guys release. And I'm happy to do that because I think that you guys are awesome. And especially talking to you now, you seem like a nice person.
Oh, so wait, some days. Remember, I am from, I'm not from Chicago, but I'm from Chicagoland. So,
yeah.
We got that grit to us.
Got that grit. No, I can appreciate. I'm from the East Coast, so I guess I'm used to the cold. Maybe I got a little bit of grit, a little bit.
Yeah, we get it. Like usually East Coast and Midwest people, they get it, but the East Coast, West Coast people, mate, not always on the same page.
Well, let's be honest. West Coast people are a little soft. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean,
they can't drive in the snow.
Yeah, but my theory on this, I know I said I was going to let you go, and I always do this. I always say, all right, I'll let you go, and then there's 5 more. I'll let you go.
No, I don't mind. I'm free.
But no, my thing with the West Coast is that it's like it's always sunny all the time, so you can never appreciate the sunny days because it's always sunny. Whereas where we live, if it's shitty out all the time, so if it's a
Most of
sunny
the
day, you can
time.
really appreciate that sunny day. But over on the West Coast, they're riding high all the time, you know?
And then they get 1 inch of snow, or that's the same with the South. They get
Yeah,
like 1 inch of snow, and the
and
whole
there's like
world
an
is
80
ending.
car pile up. Yeah,
Like that, it was like a meme that came out when I think it was Georgia actually that got the snow,
yeah,
and it was just like all these cars, and then there was this girl like crying or something. I don't know.
yeah.
It was like it was a very funny
I'm like,
meme.
I got my Honda Accord that's front wheel drive, and I'm just ripping around in 8 inches of snow. It's just like,
Dude, no, I have a bigger car now, but I had a '99 Mercedes,
oh
and like that in the snow was not fun.
yeah. Yeah, well, Chicago is. I will give you credit because it can get pretty brutal over there, like in terms of temperature. I mean, I'm in New Hampshire, so it can still get pretty
Yeah,
cold.
yeah. New Hampshire gets bad, especially with snow.
Yeah.
But no, we had the polar vortex 2 years ago, and it was colder here than Antarctica.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
I walked,
it's the windy city for a reason. I mean, it's
I
crazy.
walked outside, and it's like if you're outside for more than 2 minutes, you can experience and get frostbite. I was like, oh, love it. And we left for tour like the day after that. So it was
Jesus.
cold, bro. Like when we left for tour, it's probably like -10.
-10.
Yeah, something like that.
That is great. Yeah. No, it can definitely because I live like. Well, I think it's really cool where I live because I'm like 5 minutes from like the Atlantic Ocean, so it's like cool to like be on like the edge of like the continent. Like
Yeah.
I know that you guys are like kind of more towards the middle, so it's like I'd feel kind of claustrophobic in a way. It's like there's stuff all around, there's no end in sight or whatever.
No, and you're like the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, it's way over there. But no, yeah. Again, I had a really good time talking to you, and I thought this was really cool. And like I said, if you, I mean, we'll be on the lookout for when you guys release new music. But if you ever want to just, don't be afraid to like be like, hey, this came out, you should check it out. That's
I know. I hate being that person. I don't know why. I think it's just because I used to be that person,
yeah,
and maybe not that I'm unconfident, like or whatever, but I think I don't want. It's like check it out on your own accord. I feel like now if I'm like, yo, check this out, like I just feel so awkward about it now.
okay. Well, then in that case, I will try to avoid putting you
But
in that situation.
no, I'll if you're asking, I'll send it. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't want to
definitely
be
will.
like, here's unsolicited music.
No, well, no, yeah, no, I know what you mean. We definitely get a lot of that, but I think you guys are awesome, and we're just a reaction channel or whatever. But it's like if I can help you guys out in any way, especially after having talked to you now for almost 2 hours or whatever it's been, I'm more than happy to do that because I think that I just knew as soon as hearing the song with Darius and then hearing this one that just came out, I was like, this band is something really cool. And then I figured out you had 4 albums, and I was like, damn, like this is the kind of band that like I think I would love to see succeed, not to be like cheesy or whatever.
We'll see. No, wait. I would love to see you succeed. And then it's just like the
Go
rocky
get it.
music.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's
It was great talking with you, Richard, and I think you guys are doing great things. And um, I know it's like, oh, I don't like only talking about myself, but
yeah.
so I like you're sharing your everything about TrueShot and everything, and learning more about you. I think that was really cool, because
Thank
we
you.
didn't know each other at all.
No, not at all.
Literally
Not at
not
all.
not at all.
And I
So
was glad
this
that
was
I
nice.
was glad that you reached out. Because I don't know. I guess I kind of try to ask people to come on the podcast
That
and not that I well, yeah, that all, yeah, but then also just like when I kind of get like a feeling like, okay, I feel like I can approach this person now rather than just being like, hello, would you like to come on my podcast? Because
Yeah,
I know that
no,
we
I
talk
feel
and
you.
talk and talk, and like I don't want to just take up somebody's time without them kind of being into it or whatever. I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I guess it's probably just all in my head or whatever. But just trying to be, I guess, respectful of people's time and energy, I suppose. But
Time and energy. No, but this is a good use of my time and energy.
yeah,
So
well, I think people will enjoy this conversation and this. I never like to call it like an interview, only because I feel like it's just like a nice conversation. So
I know, but I feel like I only say I'll say interview, so
yeah,
people like don't talk during.
yeah. Well, I listen. I hate like the standard band interview. I think it's so boring. Like I won't bring people on the pod. Like I'm not trying to be like a gatekeeper or whatever, but it's like if I just know you as like a band and there's nothing that like really interests me to like elaborate off of, it's like, what am I gonna ask you about? How'd you form? Who was the bass player in 2007? Like whatever.
It's like I don't. I feel like I don't really care about that stuff anymore. It's
Yeah,
like it's irrelevant, I
yeah.
guess. You know.
I
So
call them the Wikipedia questions,
the
but
just go on the Wikipedia. You'll find it out. I don't
exactly.
even. I think we have a Wikipedia. I don't know.
Maybe. If not, somebody can make you one. But all right. Well, there you guys have it. So yeah, Victims Volume 4, which I like that you call them volumes. That's pretty cool. Volume 4, Numb the Ache, comes out July 9th. And Meredith said 4 singles, and maybe one's coming out pretty soon. So, hey, keep on the lookout. But thank you so much once again, and I'll say bye to you off the air in a proper sense. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the True Shot Guest Spot Podcast. If you're on YouTube, leave us a like, a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're on Spotify, share us on your Instagram story. Tag me, tag Meredith, tag Victims, tag anybody. Who cares at this point? Anyways, we appreciate you so much, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Till the next one. Peace.